Hey folks, welcome back to the dig. Last time, well...
You could be irritating sometimes, but you sure didn't deserve to die.
yeah... Last time that happened. This time we'll try and be a bit more productive about things. Get a feel for our new surroundings.
Looks like one of the control plates we found on Attila.
Spoiler warning, this game is a fan of circles. Looks like we have a combination lock on this door. Clicking on each of these shapes will transform it into another shape, up until we hit a certain shape, and then it becomes a new color. The pattern repeats.
I don't think I want to kick this door in.
Until we find the correct one, and then the door opens.
Well, it probably wouldn't hurt to. The plants seem to draw energy from my body and disperse it among all the plants. They must share a common root system.
That will never ever come into play. Anyways, we have no means of knowing what the combination of that door is for now, so we're just going to keep looking around.
Another one of these engraved sticks. What are they? Wands? Batons? Bludgeons? Maybe some kind of handheld computer game. With my luck, it's a hand grenade.
It'd be really handy if it was. But actually, it's something even better.
It's a rod. Engraved. 5 geometric shapes.
It's our first key. We have 3 colors. Red, green, and blue. Goes in that order. Just socket these away for now until we can use them.
Somebody spent a long time engraving these smooth grooves on the surface of this column. I wish I knew what for.
And just getting a feel, looks like we've got 5 doors, 4 combination locks, and one that seems to be keyed to something familiar, maybe.
Shallow indentations.
Well, we've seen this pattern before.
One of the metal plates. This reminds me of the control panel from the asteroid. Maybe if I find all the right metal plates and arrange them the right way, just like before.
So it looks like we've got our first long-term goal. Find the other 3 plates and see what's behind that last door. And we've got the dark tunnel and the ramp. Let's head up before we go down. Rather significant change in scenery here.
I can't reach it.
It's hard to tell, but there's a crystal pane right there.
There is an airtight seal between these two rooms. This looks like a command center. I can see a tunnel that connects to the island I just came from. From this vantage point, I can see a whole system of underwater tunnels.
And finally, this little bit here in the center. This is the important part.
It's an energized crystal. This crystal is lifeless. This hole is empty.
Nothing we can do here for now, but you can be sure we'll be back here later. When have you ever played a game like this and an incomplete set of anything was not filled in? Anyways, you saw there that I sort of teleported out of the room. Once you've been to a room, you can double-click on a passage out, and you will just zip right to it. Really saves on travel time.
It's hot here, and it's glowing down there. Ten to 1, it's the power source for this place. All I need to do now is to find the light switch, or the plug, or the fuse box, or whatever makes this thing work. An instruction manual might help. Maybe a map. And I could use a sandwich. And a hot jukebox and a cold beer. Or just a starship headed for home. Get a grip, Boston.
And it is a-okay to have meltdowns in situations like this. Anyway, there was something sitting on the ground down there. Let's get a better look at it.
I can see a lens way down at the bottom. I can see a lens way down at the bottom. The lens is missing. I can see a lens way down at the bottom.
So, we have our first puzzle. We need to get the unattached lens into its hole. And we have a pair of control panels up top.
Nothing happened.
This is the one we're most concerned about. We have a series of color-coded inputs. We can enter multiples of every color, except for red. We can have more than one, but not in a row. We also have a backspace and a delete all. So first off, let's see what each color does by testing them one at a time. So each color appears to correspond to a direction for our little repair drone. Red doesn't seem to do anything. It's probably the action command, telling it to do a thing. So we're gonna have it try and pick up the lens. This puzzle's a little bit finicky. drone has to be placed just so for it to pick the lens up. Being off one move in any direction will cause it to just not respond. Go, get it right on top of the lens and I'll pick it up. And now for part 2, to put it into place. Managed to get it in one this time. And that hum means we've restored power. Now there's one last thing to do in this room. We've got a weird purple glow coming from this rock. And there's a goodie inside. Some kind of light source.
It's the cool little flashlight I got from the power room.
We won't be using that for a while. Anyway, let's get on out of here. Maybe we can crack one of those doors open now that the power is turned on. First, let's take a look around the room and see if anything's changed.
When this rock fell from the ceiling, it must have cracked open an energy conduit under the floor. There's a huge amount of energy flowing along this column.
Now there's no indication as to which door our rod corresponds to. You have to guess and check. So I'll just take all the guesswork out and get it right on the first try every time. Otherwise you gotta do a whole bunch of laps around the room, and this is not a speedy process. There's a rather nice trick to these things. It automatically opens the door once you get the combination correct, so you really only have to memorize 3 of the shapes, and then you can just click through until you get the correct 4th one. You can see what I mean by this being a rather slow process, having to manually click through every possible piece.
I hope this was a good idea. So what is through this door? A death trap? A mad scientist with a pretty girl and a talking robot? An alien cafeteria? Why am I just standing here? After all, as Brink found out, the worst thing that can happen is you can take one wrong step and you're dead. So much for the cafeteria idea.
Boston, are you there?
They use geometric shapes as a kind of combination for the locks.
Boston, you won't believe where I am. I'm in a place filled with alien technology, the most fantastic things I've ever seen. And the machines are working.
What are they doing?
I don't know yet. I mean, they're really alien. Like nothing I've seen before.
Don't go too fast, Maggie.
I'll be careful, Boston. But it's not like we have time to use correct scientific procedures to test these things.
Where are you? How can I get to you?
I wish I knew. It's a sure thing you can't get here the way I did. I slid through a low tunnel in the rock, and then it kind of got filled with debris when the roof collapsed.
You could have been killed.
Gee, I guess this isn't safe. But if we'd been together, whoever went through the crack second would definitely have been killed. Keep that in mind when you're thinking about coming to save me. I handled it just fine.
Yeah, I guess you did.
We're both doing okay, Boston. We'll find a way to connect up with each other when it matters.
Maggie? Good work.
Thanks, Boston.
Well, good to know our reporter is safe. Let's check out our new room. Oh yeah, that definitely looks like a super safe mode of transportation for a species with skeletons.
Now I know what my pet hamster felt like.
Oh, we did a lot of good work today, folks. Turned the power on to the Nexus, and we got to the first spire. It's a pretty good day's work. Let's take a nap. See you next time, everyone.